Turtle Rock is definitely one of the more difficult and more complicated dungeons in the game, and there are a couple new enemies and there's a bunch of mini-bosses. One of them is right here in the form of a Vire. It's really easy if you have the boomerang, just one hit with the boomerang and it's done. Head over a couple screens here and we will run into Hynix. And just like we did earlier in the game, now that we have the boomerang, Hynix is a joke. Just hit him a couple times and get the fairy that he leaves behind, and then head left the screen. Here you want to push this like moving platform, but you control it with the D-pad, and you want to control it so that it covers all of the blocks. So since it covered all the blocks, a treasure chest will appear and I can open it up. Over here there's 2 sparks, and there's also a treasure chest. There's also a floating recovery heart at the corner if you want to recover your health, or you can use the boomerang on these on the enemies and you'll get fairies to begin with. So make your way over to the left, and here we have Rolling Bones, the mini boss from Tail Cave. Again, now that we have the boomerang, it's simply one hit to kill him. If you head up a screen, there's a Vire and a Spark. Defeat them both and you'll get a small key. We want to head down 2 screens, and there's a little vacuum that will suck you in at the bottom right. And there's a bunch of green Zol, or at least one of them. And inside the treasure chest in the middle here is the compass. Now that we have the compass, we really got a lot of things in this short period of time. But you can play your ocarina and warp to the dungeon entrance, since that more or less is our next destination. Alternatively, you can just manually backtrack like this. You can just push this block to the right in order to get by. Hynix won't respawn just yet, but the Vire will afterwards. Just defeat it with the boomerang and then head up a screen. And right a screen, there's multiple paths you can push this block in. For now, we just want to head to the left, and there are 3 blocks here. We push the top and bottom one to the left, and we push the middle one to the side, and this will allow us to reach the treasure chest, which contains the dungeon map. If you look against the north wall, there is sort of like a crack in the wall, and we can use our bomb, and blast a hole through. Alternatively, you can just reach this through the pushing platform area. Anyway, now we're in this side-scrolling area where we just need to use Rock's Feather, and beware not to get hit by the fire that pops out from the lava. And just make your way across the ladders here and exit up the large ladder here. There are a couple ropes. They shouldn't be much of a problem. It could be annoying because you have to pick up the pots and they're sort of in your way, but it shouldn't be much of a problem. So just defeat all 4 of the ropes and lift all the pots. Once all the ropes have been defeated, the door will open above, and you should get the treasure chest, which contains the stone beak, which will come to use in just a moment. Here we have another mini-boss. This time it's in the form of Smasher, who was the mini-boss in the Face Shrine, the North Face Shrine. This one is not any easier than before, since you can only hit him with his own ball. So just pick it up with the power bracelet and toss it at Smasher, and after I believe 4 hits, he will be defeated. We want to head up through the locked door above, even though both of them open. And there is an owl statue at the bottom left corner here. So you can go and read it, and it says, "Fill all the holes with the rock that rolls. This is the key." This is actually what we've been doing already, and it's in regards to rooms like this where we have to push the little platform and we have to fill up all the holes. So you want to push the platform just as I am doing now, and you just push it in a particular order so that all of the holes are filled up, and then afterwards you can get the small key that is left for you. If you use your sword in this room and tap against the north wall, you'll notice that there is a secret of sorts, and this will reveal a crystal switch. And we can actually hit it now, but since we leave the dungeon and re-enter it, it actually resets the switch. So we're going to have to come back to this a lot later in the dungeon. There's a fake treasure chest here. It contains a green Zol, so don't worry about that. There's also some magic powder. You could get it if you need it. If not, don't worry about it. and we want to return to the room the large room where we had multiple options where we can push the moving platform. This time, instead of heading to the left, we want to push the platform so it lands right between those blocks, and we want to push the block on the right to the right. Just head to the right and you will find another one of these Vire enemies. So you use the boomerang and then go through the locked door using one of the small keys. There's a staircase here, but don't mind it for now. We're going to actually come through it in just a bit. Instead, head through the one-way door and you'll find a couple green Zol in this room. There's also a few blocks that you can blow up, and we'll get back to this room later. To defeat the monsters who hold the key, attack them from a higher place. I'll mention what that means in just a second. There are a couple of Gibdos here. Just defeat them using any one of the methods. Usually the boomerang works. You can use bombs if you'd like. But once they're both defeated, you will get a small key. Head to the left of the screen and we'll run into the Dango snakes. You can defeat them now, but it'll create a treasure chest on the higher platform. And this is what the owl statue was referring to when he said defeat them from the higher platform. There was a locked door on the left. We can go through it. That's one of the completely optional doors, since we can get to the other side in an alternate way. And plus, we wanted to hookshot over and get the potion, or medicine, from that treasure chest. So now we have to go through this one-way area. And you notice the statues are sort of like Bowser statues from Mario. You can claw on over with the hookshot. And it takes us back to the room over here with the one-way panel at the north part of the room. Head up a screen, and you'll notice there's these cracked blocks all over the place, and there's bombs floating around that you can pick up. This is sort of a hint that you are going to need to crack these blocks, and you'll see what happens once you just place bombs so you crack all of the blocks. And look what the background, basically the bottom of the room, reveals. It's actually in the form of an arrow that points to the left, and thus there is a secret on the left. So it's a little subtle, but it's a cool little secret. Use one of the small keys on the locked door, and then head left the screen. There's a rope here, and you'll notice there's another locked door at the bottom that hides a staircase. And there's also another locked door at the top right corner here. So there's several locks that are in your way, and we don't have the small keys in order to get by just yet. So place a bomb against the cracked wall on the left and head left the screen. And we'll be coming back to that room in a bit once we get some more small keys. You can talk to the owl statue here and it gives you some advice. If the statue looks strange, shoot it with the bow. Alright, so there's a statue just floating around. That looks strange, right? So let's shoot it with an arrow and we will get another small key. You can head down a screen to replenish some of your items, but then we want to head left from here. Push the block on the left of the treasure chest up, and then the block underneath the treasure chest to the left to get the small key. We can actually head to the left here on the left side of the room, but we don't have the dungeon item yet, so it's kind of useless. Head up to the screen, and if we head one screen to the right from here, we'll reach that locked door that I mentioned earlier that we could have gone around without even using a small key. Head left the screen now to the higher platform and use the hookshot to get over to the treasure chest here and open it up to get 50 rupees. And then what's kind of interesting here is if you leave through the staircase, you're actually outside, and look what we got here, the 12th and final piece of heart. So this will fill up our heart containers up to 13 of the possible 14, which is kind of cool. You head right a screen, and look, there's a warp portal all the way over here. So we want to step into the warp portal, and this will activate it, making it easier to access Turtle Rock from other parts of the overworld. And that's going to do it for this video. Join me for the next video, and we will complete our adventure through Turtle Rock.